All right, welcome YouTubers, GreatDanePicks.com. These are YouTube against the spread handicappers or prognosticators, as the network likes to call themselves. What I've got out here is a spreadsheet that I've updated for, why is it all locked up here? There we go. For this year. And so for a couple people it goes back to 2013, including myself. And I've been keeping year to year, just pulling off the videos that we have. Typically videos are better than some of the descriptions. I do the descriptions in one case. I mean, if they're giving good picks, they're giving good picks. I've got them organized in rows by the beginning of the year's status and where they sat. And I know this 2017's been updated. So if you watched my week 9 video through 8 weeks this year, I am 6-2 on my multiple system. And I'm also, for this particular, again, my records here, I'm going with covers.com spreads at game time. So we're all on equivalent playing field here. I'm not saying on Tuesday I was plus 20 and I'm winning. Oh, I won that game. Well, you're not getting plus 20, right? You know, it's just not going to work that way. It doesn't matter what, you know, if it's plus 4 or plus 1, right? You know, it's a delta is a delta, and those flush out a little bit. Usually it's just a little bit of a difference, but sometimes it could be a pretty big difference depending on how the numbers that these YouTubers cite. So, and it's also, what else am I doing? I'm betting $2,000 a game, so I win $18.18 for every win. I make a profit of $1,800 for every win, and I'll lose $2,000 if I lose it. So my formula right there for that sell is the wins times 18.18 minus the losses times that $2,000. So 6-2 gives me a net profit of $69.08 on the year, and that by far is way ahead. We'll see how we finish the year. It's not many games. I don't pick many games. I start a little later. And you can see my totals out there are just huge. My rate is 59.4. Dropped a little bit. No, it's gone up a little bit. 59.4. $267 a game on expected average. Just the number of games, the net winnings divided by number of games. Who else is doing well? Half Moon has been struggling. He's been a couple games over 500 for a number of weeks now. Unfortunately, every week you do that, 500, it drops your total a little bit. So he's down to 17-15, a 906 in profit. He's the only other profitable guy that I've got out there right now, based upon, like I said, covers numbers, and also it applies a minus 110 odds. So that's why I'm getting the 18-18 for a profit for a win. Your particular sportsbook might differ. But he historically is a 54.7, along with this 54.7 group. Nobody's over 100 anymore. Usually there's a group that's over 100, but with some of the losses people have been taking this year, they're down below 100, but still positive. So he's one of the higher. He's kind of the next ranking, but you can see there's a big difference between him and me. He picks a little bit more games than I do throughout his career, sometimes does well and sometimes doesn't, but we all do sometimes well and sometimes doesn't. He had a huge year last year. That's really what's driving his profit. Logan Schiff, up to this year, it had been doing really, really well. He only started in 2015, so you can see his entire history on the screen. Unfortunately, his video picks are 16-22 ATS this year. So huge, minus $14,912 you would have lost playing that. And it brings him down to $10,000 net profit over the 3 years, and he's still at 54%. So at least he's positive net all the years, but this year not doing well. He also does a description, so I'll jump down to that, row 10, and that he picks every single game. So you don't expect to do particularly well when you pick every single game. And he is under 500. He is 53-56, just a shade under 500. You can see last year he was 6 games above 500. And the year before that he didn't play the full season. So, but unfortunately, with that number of games and a tick below 500, this is how gamblers lose their money. 15,646 in the hole. Still positive overall, mostly because he did so well back in 2015. You can see he was practically a 66% picker on limited picks per the year, but losers the last couple of years, so he's got a history here. Who else are we going to look at? I always like Teddy Bear. Teddy Bear usually does well, but he is not doing well this year, and he didn't do back. He goes up and down, yin yangs. had a huge year, I think, back in 14. One of the few guys that had a huge year in 14. So this year is a little bit difficult because most people are losing this year, right? They're not making positive numbers. But he is 11 and 14, and that's going to lose you $8,000. He doesn't make many picks, but he's in the boat. Again, another 54% picker. Nothing to shed your stick at. Maybe you can come back, maybe you won't. Half Moon we know about. Sports Guy Show. Again, he had a really huge year last year. A terrible year the year before, being that, and this year he's just terrible again. Again, he's really hard to listen to. You really got to listen to his video because he'll tease a lot of games. I'm taking the teasers out of this, right? Those are 6-point line movements. You got to combine those two or three team teasers. Usually it's not worth the money, especially if they're. But his straight up picks, the ones he's advocated and been strong about, says, hey, not straight up. I meant ATS. He does some money line picks, and he does some straight up picks, and he does all kinds of picks to make him 126 and 2 right on the week. But his real ATS numbers are 15 and 21. Listen to enough of his videos to figure that out. And a huge loss this year, 14,730. Does have good insight, but unfortunately he's not a good picker, and he's gone negative in value with that 14,000. You can see he was just above going into the year, just a couple grand above. Now he's clearly in the negative, and he's going to lose your money if you pick his picks. Geo has always been a 50-50 picker. The game's rigged to be 50-50 in theory with ATS. We always try to do better than that. There are tons of guys who do worse than 50-50, trust me. And not just this year. I'm just talking. These are all stars as far as I can see out on the YouTube channels. Again, if you find somebody you think that's got a rep and has been putting the numbers up on YouTube, and I'm just missing them for some reason, I've looked at quite a few of them. Always looking for new entries, but I don't want that they were good in 2016 or just good this year, right? The last 4 weeks I've been doing great. Yeah, give me numbers we can relate to, right? And we can track your history. All these are not statistically valid samples anyways. There's just not enough picks in football to really say how you are long term, but we've got a reasonable expectation here. So Geo, he is 154 and 147 in his lifetime negative, but 16 and 16 is going to lose you money. And Gino is down. He had, I know, at least one terrible week where he went over. So he's 14 and 17. I think he was 3-1 last week to come back a little, but still losing huge money. El Presidor, I don't track him anymore. Garbage. The Football Guru, again, and why I didn't get good numbers. I think Jared Champion was my example last year, and I'm not going to follow him again this year because he's just a flat out not a good picker. But I kept him there just to look at it. So I'm really looking at a bunch of pickers here. This is where we stand. I'm way heads and shoulders, just like I am in my overall rate in all the years. What does that prove? Not much, but at least you can play my picks and make money, typically. So that's the status halfway through. I'll do this again in another 4 weeks. For those of you tuning in for the first time, this is what it is. I can validate it all on covers.com. Something you can't do by watching people's videos, including mine. All right? See ya.